Hey everyone, I'm Joe and today I'm doing a book review of the GnomeSaga Trilogy by Soward. The trilogy is made up of Rough Magic, Tinker Mage and Cogweaver, and it is a fantasy steampunk series comprising of 1032 pages in total, so it's a fairly small trilogy and each of the three books is extremely similar in length as well. I read the ebook format on my Kindle, and the first of which, Rough Magic, you can buy for a extremely low price, or at least you could when I did, and last I checked you still could in fact. So the book is based on a world called Sulinor, which has multiple races within it. One of them is indeed human, but the race that the book focuses on is gnomes, which is unusual because frankly I've read books with gnomes in them once or twice, but they've always been in the position where they've been in the background. This is the first book I can ever remember which has focused on gnomes as the primary selection of characters, and it's quite an interesting one. The focus of the book is on a pair of gnomish siblings, those being Nixabella Noor, who is an inventor and an engineer, and a particular invention that she creates, which I'll mention in a minute, and her brother is Nixelpick, who is a mage whose speciality is necromancy, which is extremely frowned upon, and whilst not illegal, it's not popular, and he does have a few issues because of his certain choice. He's also a foul-mouthed individual, he swears an awful lot, and he has a magical drug problem to boot as well, which he's trying to get rid of. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of other worlds or dimensions that exist, which are called alter worlds, and these exist very close to our own, and gateways can form between these worlds. It's basically the traditional multiverse theory, and it's one that is an interesting one in this particular context. Several different creatures cross over from one of these alter worlds into Sulinor, both for good and bad reasons, and this is just generally extremely bad for all of gnomekind, and indeed every living creature on Sulinor itself, especially for indeed the two main characters, because their abilities mean that they are forced into the thick of the action, and indeed obviously they become the focus of the entire book. One of these alter-world visitors wants an invention that Nixabella has created, and basically the plot goes from there. I'm not going to say anything more because it will spoil the overall trilogy and will just wreck them. So there is really good world building and indeed character development in the book. I mean, at times the dialogue between characters can feel a bit clunky and a bit odd, but that's only a very minor thing, because the thing that really stands out to me is the way the characters interact and just the feel of the characters. They are really well developed, and their personalities really come alive and really shine, and I just love the characters in this book. They're just so well done. I cannot express how well the characters are and how well they work together. They have their arguments, they have disagreements, and yet they still are able to sort of get on and try and figure out what's going on, and various things to do with other plot points. One thing that I found interesting is the fact that the main characters are indeed gnomes. I've read a few books in the past, only a few admittedly, which has featured gnomes, but they've always been very much in the background and played very insignificant roles. In this, the gnomes are obviously major, and as a result though, there is a certain freedom that Soward has been able to do with the characters, because there aren't many preconceptions of what gnomes are. Yes, gnomes are generally thought of as indeed inventive with a magical streak, but other than that, there's very little else to play on, and he has used this to his advantage because he's created a world that he wants to create, not based on some arbitrary sort of stereotypical image, which can often happen. For instance, with elves, there is an image with them. Gnomes, not so much really. And that is one factor which also helps to create a really interesting world and indeed an interesting selection of characters, because you're never entirely sure what might come next, or indeed how they will interact with each other, because the characters are just not predictable and not entirely familiar. So overall, I gave the entire trilogy 5 out of 5 stars, and I think it is a fast and fun fantasy adventure with very obvious steampunk elements, and it's just a fun and pleasurable trilogy to read, and I'd recommend this to anybody who enjoys fantasy or indeed wants to read a interesting steampunk novel where there are very few preconceptions about what the characters could be, and has some really interesting ideas in it which I really enjoyed. If you've read any of these books, then please let me know in the comments below and we can have an interesting conversation about them, and also let me know if you would like to read any of them, or indeed if I've inspired you to try one of them. And with that said, that's it for this video. All my social media links can be found in the description box below, as they always are, and that's it for this video. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you another day. Bye for now.